Yo, so the opinions and views expressed in this podcast are that of our own and the Future Bachelor podcast only, and not affiliated with any outside party or entity or anything like that. This fun podcast, though, may include some adult language.
Future Bachelor Podcast.
Yeah, welcome to Future Bachelor. My name is Sai.
I'm Veronica.
And we got a guest in the building. What's your name, sir?
My name is Nate.
Yeah! Shout out to Nate. The kids love Nate.
Are we gonna do a peek behind the curtain on why I can't stop laughing? Because
all right, I guess so. I mean, I started the show. This is the second time we started the show, guys, and I messed up and didn't press record the first time. So we're acting like this is the first time we did exactly all this for the first 2 minutes. But I like this. This is cool. Like, it kind of has like a nice tone set for it, and you know, I'm trying to remember what I said last time. Oh yeah, why don't you introduce our guest today and how you know him and why he's here today?
Okay, yes. So Nate, he's a friend of mine, met through mutual friends. Because of the world we live in. Now I feel cheesy saying that.
I know. No one knows you're cheesy except for me and Nate. Come on.
Keep going.
You're doing great. But do it with a little bit more emotion. This time with a little bit more emotion.
Woo! Anyways, so yeah, social media. We see each other's lives all the time, and I saw he had posted a couple weeks ago that he had contracted the coronavirus. So we kind of were talking about it, and I thought he'd be a cool person to have on the show, and he'll talk more about it later.
Word. Well, yeah, that sounds insane to just start the show off like, hey, we'll talk about that later. He has the coronavirus. No. Nate, I wanted to actually ask you how you're doing, like, currently. We'll talk, like she said, get into it a little bit more later, but you're doing all right. Welcome to the show. Thank you for being here.
Thank you guys for having me. Yeah, no, I mean, right now, I feel great. Living with coronavirus, I feel like I'm just doing a lot of the things everyone is doing right now. Doing a lot of Zooms, did trivia night with my buddies the other night, and also had a poker night. So, you know, kind of just living like everyone else right now. Just I have coronavirus.
Well, yeah, holy shit. Well, the three of us, speaking of poker, need to have one of those nights. That's like something we got to set up.
Yeah, we like poker.
But we'll talk about it a lot more later on when we dive into you. But we're going to, you know, kind of talk about some pop culture stuff before that. Just, you know, as much as there's not a lot going on in the world these days, but
stuff.
Yeah, me and V seem to find the stuff to talk about, you know. So, but V, how are you doing? What's been going on in your life?
You know, I've been keeping track of it on the show now, I guess, for the past several weeks. But I've been doing trivia with my friends, like we do.
Are you getting any better?
Like a weekly, like it's like. We have not won yet.
D, that was my answer. You can't use that one.
I know. Come on. The fans are like, we've heard this before. Have you guys ever seen, like, Not Another Teen Movie where the one guy, like, shows up, says his whole, like, love speech and gets through the airport, and then the nerd comes through and says the same exact thing? They're like, we've heard this before. You know, it's just like.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
But anyways, V. So yeah, your trivia.
But yeah, we didn't get first place once again, got close, but also I was at a disadvantage, I will say personally, because prior to going on the call for trivia, I was on Zach Sims, shout out to Zach Sims' birthday.
Shit, yeah, happy birthday to him.
I was on his birthday Zoom party, and because I hopped on it early because I knew I was going to have to hop off later. Yeah. Like, it was me and, like, all the boys just playing, like, drinking games. Like, you can play Circle of Death online. Like, they will pull the cards. Yeah.
What were they playing it on?
Like, totally up. Huh?
What were they playing it on? Like, a website or?
Yeah, on a website. And, like, we were all, like, playing, like, via Zoom. Like, he had his screen share. And we're like, wow, this is, like, so ridiculous. And this is how we're partying for your birthday right now. But, like, yeah, so, like, I was having a good time. And then I had to go be smart and play trivia, so that was a little tricky.
Yeah.
But that was a lot of fun. And then, you know, it was Easter this past weekend, so I celebrate as I always do, which means I end my Lent by getting some Taco Bell. I go, like, I'm all dressed nice because it's Easter, and I got my Taco Bell, got my quesarito, and I had a good time. But yeah.
Well, that's amazing, V. Happy Easter to
I love
everyone
Taco
out there. With me, I don't like. I was actually, I went to Zach's birthday Zoom party a little later than you, but really all I did was go in there. I was a little tipsy already, so I was no help. Like, I think they muted my mic actually, and then I ended up leaving. But yeah,
I'm happy I wasn't there for that.
that would have been embarrassing. But I was like in and out. And another thing I did this past week, I painted my nails. You see?
I was gonna say, man, I like those.
Dude, I got bored.
I wouldn't do it myself, but I think it looks good on you.
I don't know. What do you think, V?
I think you could kind of pull it off. I don't know. You act like
it's quarantine.
I feel like
it's not like I'm going anywhere. Like
I was watching like some of our old like promos on Instagram, and like the one where you're like, like I'm such a bad boy or something like that, and like I'm like a bad boy, and like you're in this like whole getup and you're like pretending to be a bad boy, and I was like, yeah, no, and that's I don't know. So it's kind of funny. Like I feel like you don't have that much edge, but it gives you some edge.
Well, I was hanging outside with the neighbors, and they had like all the paint there, and I was like, you know what, fuck it, like it's quarantine. Like it was either that or shave my head. So I think
I pierced my ear a few weeks ago for the first time. And I'm like, I'm in a very like professional business setting for the most part, so I'm like, I pierced it, and I'll like go into a meeting, and I'm like, oh, can I wear this earring in this meeting? And I'd like take the earring out before the meeting, put it back.
Only because they're gonna fucking make
like,
fun of you, dude. Like Drake a couple of months ago or whatever got his earring, and everyone was like flaming him. It was over. So you go in there, and your boss is just like, dude, Nate, what the hell?
Fatality.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like strategically picking the meetings I can have my earring in.
You're like, no, it's a filter. It's a filter.
Exactly.
No, but I have my ears pierced too, so you know what it.
Yeah.
I don't care. I think it's kind of crazy. And then also, I bought that treadmill. I don't know if I talked about it.
Baby treadmill. It's so cute.
Dude, it works. It works. I like sweat my ass off running my little studio apartment with that treadmill, so I recommend it. Look on Amazon for a treadmill. Like it's $200. Swipe up right now. This is not an ad, but I'm just saying, like it's really really good. Like if you're just really trying to self-isolate and get that mile or two in and just fold it back up and you don't have a lot of room, like this does sound like an ad now.
We should not do that swipe up later for if you want coronavirus.
Yo, swipe up, but
that's not what I'm here for. I'm not selling that.
Right. Yeah. But I guess now, like, we talked about everything crazy that's happening. Like, who would have thought, like, I would have painted my nails last week? But I better get a flight out of here to some quick hits. What do we got for some quick hits, V?
All right, to start off, two former friends, queens of the pop / former Disney Channel world.
Yeah.
Demi Lovato and Selena Gomez.
Wait, one. Demi Lovato? Selena Gomez, what happened?
I mean, they're no longer friends.
No! Oh my god.
But this honestly,
so sad.
Is it news? Like, there's older videos back from when.
Hold on, were they on Barney together or something?
They were on Barney together. They were besties from the Barney days.
That's crazy.
And then they started a bunch of stuff on Disney Channel together. And then even during the phase of like where there's the YouTube videos where it'd be Selena and Demi doing YouTube videos, and then Miley Cyrus and her best friend would do ones mocking them, and like they had like some weird YouTube beef going back and forth.
Wow.
That's like how they were best friends. And then, Demi's been through a lot. She overdosed. She's like on her healing journey and things like that. But like she came out in her new Harper's Bazaar cover and interview saying that like the only person that she's friends with from the Disney Channel days is Miley Cyrus, of all people.
Wow.
So that
Miley
was
seems
interesting.
pretty chill. Like,
Miley's cool. We all know I'm a Miley stan. Like, I have multiple costumes that I've dressed as her. I'm a big fan.
Right.
I just think it's kind of like how the turntables kind of
Nate,
situation.
are you more Selena stan or more of a Demi stan?
I go with Selena.
Woohoo! That's my boy. I knew it.
But yeah, no, I mean, Selena Gomez, she has an interview out in Interview Mag that she did with Amy Schumer that also came out this week, and her photo shoot from that is It's beautiful. I was like, it's like very like, it's this whole like race car theme, and like she's like in a bunch of leather. I was a fan. But
she break the internet?
I mean, she has before, but I mean, I don't know. It could be.
Well, what else we got, V?
Okay, so bad news for all of us who love live music, which is probably all of us here.
What do you mean, live as in like in person, or like live as in IG?
I mean,
like pre-corona.
Yeah, pre-corona live. Yeah.
Pre-corona music.
Yeah, beat like live BC, live before.
Yeah. She said live BC
before corona BC. That's perfect.
That's amazing.
But so they think concerts and festivals probably, because a lot of summer festivals would be happening, or even September festivals like here with Music Midtown and things like that would be happening in the next couple of months.
Yeah. I mean, this is the first time in the last year that I've actually bought like multiple concert tickets, like 4 different tickets.
Yeah.
That are just not going to happen. And I paid insurance to get the money back. It's like fucked up. Like, do I get money back on my insurance because they're going to give the money back anyways? Probably not. This is all jacked up right now. Speaking of money, did you guys get your stimulus checks? Is that a personal question? Is that a personal question? Is that like one of those things like you just don't talk about, like religion or something? Did you get your stimulus check?
I was going to ask, are we allowed to talk about politics here? Is that
we do talk about like what's happening in our lives, how it relates to us. We don't really get too deep into it. I'm not a big politics guy, but yeah, do you have any like theories or conspiracies or anything? Because I'll talk about that.
Yeah, but we'll talk conspiracy theories. Forget about facts.
Yeah, we can talk later. I mean, everything Trump says is a conspiracy theory. There's no fact there, but I mean, I won't get too deep into that one.
I feel you. No, I mean, in general though, it is kind of crazy because people are out there right now that lost their jobs and don't like are hurting for money, couldn't pay rent this past month, probably can't pay rent next month. And I guess the confusing part for me is, and it's like I don't even mean to sound like I'm complaining or anything like that, but it's like I'm doing pretty good in this apocalypse thing right now, like you know what I'm saying? And then I got like an extra bonus, which is like I'll take it, but it's like I didn't really like. I know there's like a bunch of other people that could have used like this money more than I could have. Like if that's just me being real for a second. Like it's just almost like I just put that into savings, and I know other people were like waiting on that stuff. So it's like it's a weird thing, man. Like I thank you, but like could have like there been a better situation.
So what? I don't understand. Did the checks come like in the last day or something?
Also, the funny part about that, like the whole thing is like, because I'm an adult now and I do things structurally every year, annually and stuff. I do my taxes and all that stuff. So obviously we get our money first. So it's like the people that like are like, honestly, those are the people like that wouldn't need that money first. The people that like are getting the checks and all that stuff. Like, like I would feel a lot better if like people got checks first before like the digital shit was sent out. I get that's like the most convenient way to transfer money, but like, do you know what I'm saying? Like it's almost like a weird, like privilege thing where it's like still. I mean, I know we're part of the people down here, but it's weird. It's a weird time, man. It's a weird thing. I don't know how to think about it. I've never just gotten free money from the government. Like, you know what I'm saying?
From the government, yeah.
I mean, I guess the question going forward is like, how quickly we can like reopen the economy, because it's just a short-term fix. So
right,
I mean, it's not even a real fix. It's just like a Band-Aid almost. So it's like how long, how it's a rough situation.
Have you guys seen? I mean, we record here on Wednesday, so this will be out on Thursday. But have you seen like how they've been talking about the $2,000 a month package that they're trying to roll out?
No.
Yeah,
I actually haven't.
I was seeing talks of them like, because like unemployment's rolling out now. I don't know, man. Like all this like money giveaway stuff is like kind of scary, isn't it? Like, it's like, why do they keep giving us money like this? I mean, like, things are
Well,
going to
because like we've had like some of the highest rates of unemployment.
Right,
and, like,
right. But it just scares me as a point, like, it's going to continue to be bad. Like, we think, like, you know, in a week or 2 weeks, 3 weeks from now, like, everything's just going to go back to normal. I don't know if there's like a going back to normal.
We can, when
there's
we
like
get
this is a new normal.
When we talk about coronavirus, I mean, I there's a few things that they're working on to, I think, reopen the economy. Not completely. Like, I think Trump is pushing very hard to just open the floodgates, but I think a lot of the governors are really, trying to be thoughtful and strategic with the way that we're going to reopen things. But I do hope over the next, 2 months that things can slowly reopen. Live concerts are probably not going to happen right away. But, I mean, it's almost like you reverse everything that happened, right? So, like, first is like, hey, you can have meetings with 10 people and, you can have get-togethers with 10 people. You maybe don't have to social distance as much. Maybe some restaurants can open up. And then, and then it gets bigger and bigger. So it's not just like a total reopening.
Right. Let's talk about a little bit about the live concerts. Like, how do you feel like this is going to affect musicians and performers and stuff? Like, what do you think those people are going to have to do to like make money? Like, that we're talking about, like, all right, so this like kind of like leveled everyone out. Almost like this is perfect for haters right now too, because like all the people you hated on are on the same playing field as you. So all that shit you were talking, like, if that person didn't have all that money and all that shit, no, like everyone's kind of like at the same level now, so show up. But like, what are the people that like had all those followers and have all the like fame and all, like, what are they supposed to do for money?
I mean, like, I feel like it kind of depends on like what level of musician we're talking about, because obviously there's, you know,
a Bruno Mars. So, me before the show, me and you were talking about how I feel like I'm going to fucking get into TikTok, but I feel corny hopping into it. But what level does Bruno Mars feel kind of like that at his level? He's like, do I go on live? Do I put on a live show? Do I go on just Jimmy Fallon live shit from my bedroom? Like, do I make myself corny and stoop down to that level because that's what I have to do to make money right now, or what?
I mean, I think it's, I think it's the same as it would be for like musicians as it would be for like a gym trainer. Like, I think people need to get entrepreneurial, and
that's a good, I think that's a good analogy right there.
Like a gym trainer, you can't have people coming to your gym and you can't train people. So you have to try to use the internet and the tools that we have now in 2020 to try to make money and to, gather a following and whatnot. And people who are really proactive and try to grab the bull by the horns, I think that they may even come out better on the other side. I mean, look, imagine if coronavirus happened in like 1992. I mean, it would be fucking devastating. I mean, I think, yes, it's terrible.
I don't know. I think I would almost like to say, like, it'd be interesting to see because of the fact that we didn't have internet. Like, I feel like internet is a huge part of like the well, I mean, I can't really, it's hard to say because we'd only be able to listen to radio and TV, but like the internet, I feel like adds to the hysteria of everything. But yeah, no, I mean, it's just like really, to me, it's like there's so many examples of how mind-blowing it is. Like something like Coachella, something that just making millions and millions, almost like probably on its way to making billions, just because like kids love to fucking party and listen to music and see live music. How do they recover from this shit? Like, you know what I'm saying? Especially like this pure example of live shows not happening. And then let's talk about a little bit down the scale of like how do even restaurants or smaller venues like around us, like bars and stuff, when does it become okay for us to go back to normal? That's what I'm saying. It's like, is this the new normal that like we have to get used to? There's no going back. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Like, I feel like this definitely, like, as Nate said, like, it's definitely going to be like a slow climb back to like what we considered to be normal. I don't know when we'll even get to that point. And like, as I think we've talked about on this show weeks ago, like, social cues or like social behaviors are going to definitely be different. Like I was like joking with my friends. I was like, I miss hugs.
Right. But even like on a bigger scale, like how is this going to affect the fact of like how I go and see my mom, my nephew, my sister, everybody? Like, do I have to time like sicknesses and checks in the doctors to like in my rotation of like seeing my family and shit? Like, is that what like we're really expected to go? Like, is this the path we're heading down and shit? I don't know. These are questions I ask.
Yeah.
But you know, I guess we could dive a lot deeper actually into this stuff when we talk about you, Nate. We're getting down like some tangents, but we'll focus that a little bit more. Let's just get through our quick hits real quick. V, what else do we got? Netflix new dating show. A lot of new dating shows starting right now.
So to fill the void that Love is Blind left us with, now that it's over, Too Hot to Handle is coming to Netflix. I think like this week or next week. But it's like the premise is that it's like a bunch of like super hot singles, obviously, who are like put on a beach to find love. But like the catch is like they were all pretty much cast because they're known for like having very casual relationships or just like being there for like hookups and things like that. So the catch is that to win money, you can win up to like the $100,000 grand prize. You can't touch, kiss, like do anything, have sex or anything with people on this, like with the people that you're trying to date on this show. So like you're stuck on a beach in like bikinis and like, you know, barely anything. And you're supposed to be like, nah, man, because each time you kiss somebody, then the money total goes down. Well,
let's put this in the rule of three and common people scenarios. If someone told you that at the end of 3 months summer that you would get $100,000 if you didn't hook up with anybody, and we're not talking about this year because this year might be easy just to not hook up with anybody, but like maybe like in 2019, like back in like May, they were like, yo, if you make it to July or August without hooking up with anybody, you can like, you know, build relationships and stuff like that, but you guys cannot touch titties or like vaginas and dicks or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? No mouth stuff either. You can kiss.
Okay, but on this show you can't kiss.
Okay, then you can't kiss. You just talk and can you hold hands?
You have to act like you have coronavirus.
Yeah. This is actually a very timely, appropriate show.
Yeah, I feel like it's perfect that they're coming out with it now because like we can't touch people right now.
Those are some stars like aligning for Netflix. Holy crap.
Yeah. I know. That's Netflix is just raking in the money.
Wow, holy crap. But
I'm probably going to watch it because it looks like trash and I just want to see people crumble.
Nate, are you a single guy or do you have a significant other? You're single?
Yeah. Yep.
Look at the three of us, y'all. We got to go out and prowl when this is over.
Right?
Do you think you can make it a whole summer in 2019 without, and like trust me, dude, like you're working out, you're looking your best. The girls are all, or guys, I don't know, but like, you know, they're all about you. You know what I'm saying? Are you, you know, like, are you going to be able to make it and get that $100,000?
I don't know, man. I haven't seen another human being in 4 weeks. I don't even remember what it's like at this point.
Oh my God.
I don't know if I can answer this one. Shit.
Oh, well, that's hilarious. I'm looking forward to seeing this dating show because later on we'll talk about another new dating show that has entered our world, and we can dive into a lot more tropes.
Look at you with all these teasers, Sai.
Am I doing good? I think it's this new Truly lemonade hard seltzers. You know what I'm saying?
You'd be good on that show, man.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it.
Coming up.
Coming up next. Diddy hosted a dance-a-thon on Live IG. What was that like, V? What's going on with that? So
it was super fun. He hosted it to raise money for, you know, first responders, for the fund to help them. And he had a bunch of different people pop in and out of the live. So it had like Drake came on and they did Tuesday Slide. It was him and his whole family, like, and his sons are adorable. And he has like 2 younger daughters who are probably like 11. And they did like the Savage Challenge dance with Megan Thee Stallion. She came on. Lizzo came on. Justin Bieber, DJ Khaled, like literally everybody and anybody popped on into this live and were dancing. And they and he raised about like $4 million for release.
So how were they raising money? Was it just like they were just on live? Like I think I saw like J-Lo in there and everything, which is pretty crazy. And Alex Rodriguez and Diddy all dancing on IG Live and stuff. So I could see how
which Diddy is J-Lo's ex, so that's always fun.
Right, and she was in the club that night where they were all like
with
the guns and stuff, you know. But oh my goodness. I want to let you guys know that I'm like actually recording from Paul's apartment. This is my quarantine buddy, my best friend PG. You guys know him as, you know, the sick puppy and and he lives right on the belt line, and I feel like TRL Carson Daly. Oh, we got Paul right here right now. What's up, Paul? Yo, come on, compadres. Yo, look at PG's here.
I heard Who Let the Dogs Out.
Yeah, I heard it. He heard it.
Who let the dogs out? It's my bat signal.
It's my bat signal. Paul, you know, he's got this window situation on the Beltline, which is a very popular place that people are still walking and exercising on. So I feel like, you know, like back in the days, you guys ever see TRL? First of all, that's where like the painted nails from Carson Daly.
It fits.
But not only that, but they used to have the window where everyone would just like talk and like when NSYNC came by and wave out.
You have a crowd out there, man?
I don't have a crowd right now.
I actually, so earlier when you guys were first starting and I was filming, I did see someone walking by with a camera and they stopped and they were taking a bunch of pictures of you.
What?
I'm sure from out there it looks like a pretty crazy setup.
Yo, Future Bachelor.
Don't tell that to Cy.
If you look closely, you can just see his head slowly growing.
You're not going to be able to fit in your own apartment.
But yeah, no, yeah, this is actually a really fun setup, Paul. Thanks for having us here today.
Of course, you're always welcome.
Yeah, through this whole like coronavirus stuff, like it's been kind of crazy how we've had to social distance and everything. Do any of you guys have like a quarantine buddy like I have and Paul?
No, I'm alone.
No, I have coronavirus.
Oh.
No quarantine.
You can't have a buddy.
Yeah, sorry. I guess I didn't really think about that question. But yeah, no. Yeah.
You want me to move on to my yikes moment?
Yeah. What makes you go
yikes?
What makes us go yikes, V?
All right. So one of the newest, you know, we've been dealing with so many different challenges.
Look at Paul's shirt for it's a savage on it, dude. Look at it's a savage. He is one. All right.
Oh my God. But so a challenge that's happening right now is the whole idea of posting like your throwback senior pictures and prom photos from high school in order to could you not?
Dude, I can't help that popular people are FaceTiming me in a quarantine. It happens.
Oh my God.
Don't worry, you guys. We got my full attention.
Well, yes, I'm saying yikes to people posting their senior pics and prom pics.
Have you posted yours?
In support of high school students who aren't getting the real senior experience. Like, how is that supporting them? It's showing them like, hey, you didn't get to experience this. Sorry about you.
Yeah. I honestly think, you know, what's really funny about us in this podcast is that we make fun of so many different things, and then in a week from now, we did it. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I just want to put that out there. Like right now, if I end up posting my senior pic for whatever reason, yeah, I'm lame. I know. I'm just as lame as I said everyone else is. But with that being said, V, why won't you post it? Like, you've done other posts and stuff. You got TikTok.
So my thing is like, it's not that I even like have anything against like a throwback, because I've definitely posted like a throwback prom photo to like my story like years ago. I think when like my youngest brother was going to prom or something, and so I've like done it before, but like
what I hate about it is that they're saying like it's like a project that the kids of 2020 are doing and stuff like that. No, it's not. It's just a freaking online challenge.
Yeah. Well, it's just like, the fact that they're saying that it's like supporting them, like I just really think like, well, how is like being vain and like posting your throwback pictures like supporting kids who aren't being able to go to prom, like
or school in general?
Here's what you can't do,
dude. I wish like I was a senior and like I was just gonna get my diploma handed to me.
You get to go. Yeah. It sounds a little like you're upset you didn't come up with this.
Right.
I mean, you're like, I don't want to get on the bandwagon. It's genius. I wish I came up with it. I won't get on the bandwagon.
I know. That's how I feel about TikTok in general, but
not at all. It's just more like
Yeah,
I
it's
just
probably, she
think
probably
it's
has a
like-
really bad senior picture then. That's what's happening.
No, that's actually kind of factual. I don't have any good senior pictures because the one that I took for this yearbook, my senior year of high school, it was like 2 days after I've gotten back from like going on a service trip or something, and like my hair was gross. It was bad.
Wow.
The truth will set you free.
Well, yikes for sure. Did you guys ever have a senior quote underneath your senior picture in the yearbook?
Oh, I wish we did, honestly.
Did you have any senior superlatives?
I was best dressed, I think.
You think? Come on, you don't forget best dressed, V. What the fuck? You don't just go, I think I got best dressed. Like, you know
I
if
was
you got
like in
it.
charge. My high school was huge.
She doesn't remember. It was probably like most likely to be an accountant, like something really not memorable. So she's like, I don't remember what it was.
Do you guys feel like any of those were super mean?
Dressed.
Do you guys feel like those were super mean in high school? Like they had ones that like whoever got it was just like, that's not an honor.
Well, what
at
is
all.
one bad one? Like, most likely to, like, end up in jail or something.
Right,
like
yeah, yeah,
Yes,
like,
yes,
exactly,
there was.
yeah.
There was like one that was like most likely to be late to graduation for
Yeah.
ours.
Yeah, it's like most likely to be a complete failure in 10 years.
Yeah, like class clowns. Like,
Yeah.
class clowns was actually kind of cool. All right, so my senior quote underneath my picture was, they asked us all to have one, and I was a huge Kanye West fan at the time. So legit, like, honestly, like, I wish I was like a little cooler, but it was actually the way Kathy Lee needed Regis, that's the way I need Jesus. The ironic part is I'm not that religious these days, so it's like, but that's probably actually even more true. Like, now that I think about it on a deep level, the way Kathy Lee needed Regis, that's the way I need Jesus. A lot of the young kids won't even know what the hell I'm talking about, but hopefully you guys do. And then
I get it.
my senior superlatives, I got best dressed, and I know I did because that shit was solidified in the
Well,
yearbook.
how many people were in your graduating class of high school?
93.
I had 700.
Yeah, so
Let's-
out of 93 people, I got best dressed and most musical. What up? What up? I'm giving myself an air horn. Holy crap, man.
Jesus.
Well, why don't we get into our guest a little bit today? Do you want to hang around for this? I mean, I would love to have you a part of the conversation.
I'll be popping.
All right, cool. Paul might come pop in, pop. You know, Nate, you are our guest today on the podcast, and you know, we've been, like I said earlier, we have a couple pop culture things to talk about, but when it comes to what's happening in actual culture, this is coronavirus, man. And a couple weeks ago, V told me that she knew somebody that actually had coronavirus, and this was something that I kind of really wanted to know about. You know, I told you offline, I'm a type of person that likes to actually know somebody that knows something factual and has gone through something, and like you hear all the stories of people getting it, being tested. Why are these people getting tested? How do you get tested? All this different stuff, and I kind of just want to like dive into it today, so don't like hesitate to, you know, open up about it. But I guess my first question would be like, what is it like to be like one of the people that have contracted coronavirus, and where did it start?
Yeah. So just talking about it, it's so weird because it's all you hear about the last month plus, you know, coronavirus. And then to actually have it was just a totally different experience because you totally almost forget about the disease sometimes. But so about 3-4 weeks, almost 4 weeks ago at this point, I experienced my first symptoms. For me, it was fever of 100, headaches, total body aches. Like I felt like I got hit by a bus. And, you know, it persisted for like 2-3 days, couldn't sleep, would wake up totally drenched in sweat in the middle of the night. But I had no respiratory issues, like zero cough, nothing like that. And, you know, that's all everyone hears because of the, you know, the ventilators, and they just think like, that's the scary part. That's the dangerous part. So I was like, I probably don't have coronavirus. And, you know, the next day I lost my sense of smell and taste on top of everything else. And I was like, that's really weird. Like, that's not something you get with the flu. That's not like a normal, like, total loss of taste. I mean, I say I have like something that tastes like a warhead. If you remember those sour warheads as kids. And I like put it in my mouth and I was like, I literally can't taste this at all.
So that's for real.
And
that was one of the things I thought people were
Yeah.
just like playing up.
no, it was. I still don't have like full smell and taste to this point.
What
It's
went
horrible.
first? Like, and like, what were you noticing first? Did one come, the other, and then you're like, oh goddamn, the other one went. Like, you know?
No, it was just one day I took a shower and I think I was like brushing my teeth and like not smelling the toothpaste, not tasting the toothpaste. I was like, did I clean my teeth? Like, what's going on here?
That's so
And
confusing.
then,
yeah.
So I called my doctor, and you know the thing I was scared about is because you hear there's not enough tests, and you know I was looking up online, and it was weird online. Like there's drive-throughs, but they're hard to get in touch with and whatnot. My doctor, fortunately, they answered and they're like, "Yeah, come in. We'll test you for coronavirus today." And I'm like, "Really? That's it? Like I can come in right now?" And they're like, "Yeah, come in." And went in. The doctor did the test and could get a result within a day. And
Tell me about the test though. That shit looked gnarly.
It is terrible. It's fucking terrible. So
did you know what you were going into, or do you know what you were to expect? Like,
a little bit. I mean, I had heard some stories about the test, and so essentially what it is, it's like a half a foot like swab, you know, like a cotton swab. And essentially what they do is they stick it up your nose, and it just keeps going, and it keeps going until it like hits something, which is like they say, I've heard the back of your throat, so it goes all the way up your nose. And it just sits there for like a few seconds, and then he takes it out. But the crazy thing was, so my doctor, who's this funny older Jewish guy, he just goes, "Nathan, this is actually supposed to go up your dick, so you can be happy that it's going to go up your nose." And I was like, you know what? I'm good with the nose. Let's do this. So
that's hilarious.
So then the first time he didn't get a good specimen, so he had to go up the other nostril. So
my God!
I got 2 tests the first day, and so I went home and I was like, you know, look, I'm looking at the numbers, and this was almost 4 weeks ago at this point. So there were probably only, I don't know, 20, 30,000 positives, or even less, maybe 10,000 in the country. So I'm doing the math, and I'm like, man, the odds are like 1 in 10 or 20,000. Like, there's no fucking way I have this. Like, it would be like hitting the lottery, but the wrong lottery.
Wrong lottery.
The notary.
Like the wrong
notary.
So he calls me, and he actually calls my dad because he was my emergency contact for some reason. He called him, and my dad just texted me. He goes, "You have coronavirus." I'm like, "What? Like, seriously? How the fuck, you know, did I get this?" And but you know, the truth is, I was pretty happy because, like I said, I was worried about the coughing and the rest, you know, all the respiratory issues, and I was like, shit. If I have coronavirus and I don't have that, I would rather just have it and be done with it. Because and we can
before
talk about
even
it
that,
later,
but I was gonna say, like, how?
Yeah.
I mean, my thing is like, how come people are finding it very hard to get tested? Is it a like a money thing? Is it like a society? You know.
So I'm not exactly sure. I was talking to my mom actually earlier about this, and you know, I was fortunate my doctor had. He's not like a super high-end expensive doctor who's in like a nice building of Buckhead. Like, it's kind of a modest place in West Midtown. And I think, you know, if you have a doctor that maybe doesn't have access, doesn't have as many tests, doesn't, you know who to send it to, he just is maybe not going to test you. So if I couldn't get a test, looking back, I would reach out to family members and friends maybe and say, "Hey, do you have a doctor or know someone that can test me?" Because I've posted on my Instagram, I've said, "Look, if you think that you have coronavirus or you're feeling nervous, DM me or call me, and I will send you to my doctor tomorrow." You know, so I think it's a matter of just continue. If you're really nervous, it's not just giving up if your doctor says you're fine, don't worry, is to kind of keep pursuing it to make sure that you get tested if you need to. So.
It's really interesting though. I was just on the phone with my cousin who's NYPD, and he, you know, is getting a lot of calls. Like, people are calling 911 because they think they have the coronavirus and stuff like that. So it's like, you know, and someone even like me that thinks they could not get it, just like you were talking about,
Yep.
like it would be like winning the lottery or the lottery.
Yep.
You know, I just don't think like, you know, even if like I had it, like it's something that I get in my head about. You know, it's a psychological thing. That's kind of what we were talking about last week and stuff. So what was like your struggle between thinking like you might be in your head about it and it actually being a real thing? Like, how did you feel? Like, and how do you tell other people like you might have it? Like,
so that was definitely the night I got it. I was like,
do you know how you contracted it actually?
Yeah, contracted it, you said?
Yeah. Is that a word?
That sounds like a sexually transmitted disease when you say it that
I know. But like, is that the way you say it?
I don't know. I think I just say I came down with the virus. I don't know.
I mean, I think when you start talking about the word virus, I think the word contracted fucking applies. Like, you know,
I'm down with the sickness.
I'm down with the sickness.
Yeah. So
that actually should be a good ass new sound effect. Write that down as a no V. Down with the sickness and ooh as a new sound effect.
Yeah. So first it was obviously the shock and like, all right, I have this disease. I need to like physically take care of myself and be healthy. Yeah. But then yes, it was the like reality of like, holy shit, I've come into contact with a good amount of people over the last, you know, so just to back up, it takes 1 day to 2 weeks of an incubation period. So say you get it today, or you can, you know, you touch something that has it today, it can take 1 day to 2 weeks for you to actually like get symptoms and like, So basically, you know, I had to kind of grasp with the idea of like, all right, I could have touched all these friends and like went to all these restaurants, or I had gone to a, you know, an empty gym or something. And even my apartment complex, you know, like I've been walking around my apartment complex touching doors. So, you know, I let my apartment complex know that I have coronavirus, and they sent out an email to everyone, which they followed up an hour later and said, stop calling us. We're not telling you who it is. We're not telling you what apartment. Like, we're not telling you how they got to their car.
Oh my God.
Like, and I'm sitting here like, what is a crazy person
like just murder
come
you?
to my apartment, knock on my door. I open the door. I'm like, dude, I have coronavirus. Like,
you don't want to be near me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna key your car.
I'm like actually very scared. This sounds like a good like movie actually.
Yeah, so my mom actually, she called me because I was going to have to get all this food delivery for the next week or whatever. And she's like, sends me this video. And she's like, Nate, when the food delivery people bring you food, they eat some french fries out of your food. You know, they'll like put their hands in your food. Make sure when you get your food, you sanitize it. And I'm like, Mom, I have fucking coronavirus.
I know.
Like I'm the one who
like what am I worried about?
Don't worry, Mom, I'm not delivering the food.
So it was definitely, you know, letting a lot of people know, and truthfully, being one of the very first, a lot of people didn't know how to respond. They didn't know how to, you know, react. I mean, I told the gym that I was a part of, and they sent a note to some of their members. There were like a handful of friends that I had spent a lot of time with, and they.
So let's talk about that. Like, let's talk about you infecting anybody. Like, have you done that?
No.
What?
No, I haven't.
So this is obviously. So how do you feel about it being on the level of contagion?
So you're not as contagious when you're not showing symptoms and spreading. So like if I went out when I was sick, I was like really sick for I would say 5 days, right? So if I went outside during those 5 days, I'm much more likely, and I'm not a scientist, but what I've read is you're much more likely to spread the virus when you have symptoms and you go out. So before I had symptoms, yes, I had.
So the symptoms, let's talk about that. Like the three that I know of are like the loss of taste and smell, shortness of breath, and then and diarrhea. Did you had all three of those?
No, I didn't
and
have
temperature?
the gastro. What?
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, so for me it was really just like the flu and then the smell and taste, which I'm fortunate. I had a mild case. But some people, like the truth is some people have zero symptoms, which is crazy. Like literally don't know they have it. Maybe they just lost smell and taste. So those people, yeah, I mean, you could be going out. And, I mean, I will say, and just to kind of go onto a sidetrack, because I've been in touch with a lot of people over the last few weeks because of my Instagram stories and just reaching out to people and people reaching out to me. And, you know, I'm worried sometimes because there's a lot of guidelines out there that say, like, hey, if you think you're sick, you know, and you can't get tested, just isolate for 2 weeks and you're good, you know, which, and I made a post about this the other night. I was like, look, that's not enough, because if you're like, I'm almost 4 weeks in and I tested positive a few days ago. So that's 3 plus 3.5 weeks.
Hold on. So you're saying you got tested again and you're still positive for coronavirus?
Yeah, explain the testing. Yeah.
Okay. So yes. So if you test, per the CDC, I actually read this yesterday. So per the someone questioned me on something. So per the CDC, if you test positive, you have to wait 2 weeks, and then you can test again. And if you test negative, you have to wait 24 hours and then test negative again before you are considered cleared.
So it's like a multiple test thing.
Yeah. So what happened to me was I tested last week on Monday, which was 3 weeks after I first tested, or 2, whatever, tested negative. And I was like, great, I'm going to be good. I'm going to be done. Tested on Wednesday and it was positive. So I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like,
right.
You know, and then you start reading all this stuff, and there's a lot of false negatives out there, which essentially is just, I guess, like a bad test. Maybe they didn't get a good sample.
Or they're confusing it with something else.
Do what?
Maybe confusing it with something else.
I don't know about that. I mean, there's not really a good explanation for it. And what's making people nervous is that in Korea, they're saying that people are actually getting infected again a few weeks after they recover, that's what we're trying to figure out. Cause that's a scary thing if we keep recontracting it. But I think it's just a reactivation. I'm not as worried.
I mean, at this point, like, you would be considered kind of one of those people, right?
Yeah. So what they do on the back end, and this is how I was going to say, is we can get back to like normal. They're coming out with these antibody tests. Yeah. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of these antibody tests, but yeah. So essentially, what it is a blood test now that you would take. For instance, let's say you thought you had coronavirus, right? Didn't get tested, got over it, and you said, okay, now I want to get an antibody test, because if I've had coronavirus and I have antibodies now, there's immunity to getting the virus and to giving it. So all these individuals actually now can go back to work, can reintegrate into society. And even, I don't know if you know Dr. Fauci, who's like the face of a lot of the medical stuff. He's talking about like a card that will actually carry that would be like, I had coronavirus and I have antibodies now. So essentially that would be a way that you could it would be like me wearing a shirt that said I had coronavirus and I have antibodies. Like, I'm safe. You can come around.
Do you think that's a world?
Like, ID.
2 questions. Do you think that's a world you want to live in, and do you think that's a world that's necessary?
I think that's a short-term solution. Right. So I think the vaccine is key. And I actually been reading Johnson & Johnson's working really hard to fast track about 1 billion vaccines by the early part of next year to distribute. So there's some positive things going on with the vaccines, but I mean, everything is a short-term solution until we get a vaccine, in my opinion.
Well, let me ask you this. So since all this has happened to you, what are the steps and measures you've taken to self-isolate and not, give the virus off? And then also, along with that, from your vantage point, what are you noticing about this? Like, what is your take on society? Like, you live like down the street from me. So what do you take on like our society's measures that they're taking for social distancing and masks and all this different stuff? Like, I want to know your perspective on that.
Yeah. So in terms of isolation, you're saying? I mean, I haven't left my apartment in almost 4 weeks. I mean, I think,
What is that like? Like, what are you doing to survive?
Just,
like, how do you get your groceries? How do you talk to people? Like, what do you... You haven't left your front door?
I'm sorry, what?
You haven't left your front door?
No, just for the doctor. I mean, so truthfully, I took advantage of, I hate to say opportunity, but like when I realized like I was one of the first people to have coronavirus, I was like, shit, there's going to be so many people that are going to be curious and want to talk to me and understand. And that was what I talked to V about. I was like, hey, I really would like to get on this podcast to spread the knowledge and the experience. So I was on the phone 24/7 for like the first 2 weeks. I mean, I got a little tired as time went on, but you know, I was talking to family, talking to tons of friends, people who I wasn't really even, you know, close with that were DMing me. I mean, just like, you know, using the fact that I was one
I just
of the first
paused for a
ones.
second. Like, there's two types of fame right now. There's TikTok fame and coronavirus fame.
There's coronavirus
Which one are you
fame.
getting like right now? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. But
TikTok versus Corona.
yeah. I mean, I try to use it as a platform and an opportunity to like make people feel better and comfortable, you know? Like I've tried to like some people who are really nervous about it, younger people, I try to calm them down and, you know, give them advice that they need to take care of themselves. And, you know, if anyone needs to reach out to me. And then also on the back end, if you've had coronavirus and you test positive for the antibodies, you know, if you have the antibodies after, you can donate your blood and they're using it in people who are in the ICU as like a booster shot. It doesn't cure them because they don't start creating the antibodies, but they'll use your antibodies will be used in their body against the coronavirus. So yeah, I'm just trying to like flip it and make it as positive of a situation as I can instead of letting it totally like wreck me.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely sense, dude, you're from one positive person to another. I love your vibe, like about this whole thing and shit.
Thank you.
With that being said, that's the second question I asked was like, how do you feel about societies like just like in our immediate, you know, vicinity? How do you think? Like, are you like looking out your window like get the fuck inside?
I've heard if your cop buddy, your buddy who's a police officer, I've heard from my buddies who are police officers that all they do is get phone calls all day of like, hey, I saw 7 people hanging out down the street. They're like
that type of stuff too. Yeah, actually, no, I didn't ask him about that. That's a good question for the next time. Yeah. But like he's definitely like his perspective on it is like, because one of the questions I asked him was like a rumor that or like that's going around is that cops are not arresting for anything unless you like murdered somebody, and like they're not even wanting to pull over people that touch their IDs and all this different stuff. Like he was like straight up like, you know, if you're running red lights or you're being like reckless, like I have shit to do and I'm not trying to get in some dirty business, like, you know. So but yeah, I mean, like you see the belt line, you see the parks and all this stuff. Like how are you like angry or like what's your take on everything?
Yeah, so it goes back actually when I got the virus, so it was already could have been 5 weeks ago at this point. I may have gotten the virus before the NBA season was canceled, before there was any social distancing in place. You know, so I probably I scaled back as the social distancing was put in place, but like I maybe wasn't like the perfect like role model for it. I think people have woken up over weeks, you know, and I think maybe as they've met someone that actually has it or heard of someone that has it or someone that passed away, God forbid, you know, and I think
I think you could agree that like even with you having it and your perspective on it, that's not the only perspective on it, and your way of doing it might not be the way another person that has coronavirus does things. Like me and V talk about, like I think the biggest part is not shaming people into things. Like so like, you know, you being a positive person, like, you know, how do you feel about people still walking on the belt line and being in parks and stuff, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think, look, there's a balance. There's extremes, right? So, like, my parents haven't left their house in since the whole thing started either, really.
Wow.
And you also have to identify there's high-risk individuals and then there's low-risk individuals. So if I'm never coming in contact with high-risk individuals, you know, then I didn't feel as much that it was as necessary to go to the extreme of like not going outside, not going exercising. So, you know, I mean, I think everyone has to use their own judgment, but I think that I feel pretty good. I mean, you see the flattening of the curve they're talking about. You see, I mean, hopefully as the days go by and the weeks go by that, you know, we can get more comfortable around the numbers. Oops, I just made you smaller on my camera here.
You're good.
that hopefully we can get more comfortable with the numbers. I would be very concerned if the government starts to open up things before they're ready, because they're saying, oh, there's a flattening of the curve, because then what that creates is people are going to feel like bold to be like, oh, now I can really hang out with friends, you know, and that puts us right back in the situation where we were.
But
and I feel
where's like the tip of the scale where like eventually people are going to be like, fuck this. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I mean, you can't. I mean, you know, if people do that, I mean, you know, that half of the country could get infected, unfortunately. That's why I say
I just think it's an interesting time, because like, when have you ever gotten like the whole world to agree on one thing? So if like we're really expecting everyone to do one thing, it's just never happened. Like, you know what I'm saying? So you have to just being just being obvious, like half of the people are not gonna like want to do this stuff, like, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, no one really wants to do it, but that's like, even like if we compare it to like other countries and things, like it would come down to like different governmental, you know, policies or enforcement or things like that. That's like the only way that we could, you know, get everyone to think the same thing, I guess, like in that sense. Because like technically, like we should all think about like the benefits and everything like that, and like what this actually does. But like, yeah, obviously people are going to do what they want to do unless they're being held not to.
Right.
I mean,
yeah, what were you going to say, Nate?
Yeah, no, there is the concept. I don't know if you've ever heard of, it's called herd immunity. And essentially what it is it's like, all right, let everyone contract the virus and we can continue with normal life. And yes, some of the high-risk individuals are going to die, but everyone will get immunity once you pass a certain percentage. I think like 60% of the population that would get coronavirus and have the antibodies, then we could just move on from this whole thing. It's a very, very conservative approach, and I think that's some of the people that have that approach are actually whispering in Trump's ear, and that's kind of why he's like pushing to open the economy regardless of kind of the consequences. But
it's almost like let's get it over with type thing.
Yeah,
which like is like a really like, if you think about it that way, that's like that's like not really, that like would just like completely collapse like our healthcare systems and just like more people. I mean, like the whole like idea, like obviously like there are people passing away from this, but it's like if we can prevent that from happening to people, that like, you know, that's obviously the goal.
They predict if you did that, it would be 1 to 2 million deaths at least in this country.
It's crazy.
Wow, man. Well, I mean, you know what's crazy is like I ask questions all the time about what does the future look like for us? Like what's the new, like what do we got to get used to? But honestly, when I'm talking to you and like seeing what you have to like deal with and the responsibility on an individual to not spread it and to put out good information, like that's why I really appreciate you being on the show today.
Yeah, of course.
What does the future look like for you, man? Like what do you expect, or like what are you researching to expect? I don't know. Like
Yeah, no, I would say, look, I'm very optimistic about how I think this will all play out. I think that there will be a slow rollback into kind of normalcy over the next few months, but the reality is the only way this is going to end is with a vaccine. And I think the vaccine will come very, very early in 2021 from what I've been reading. And then once there's a vaccine and it's, you know, gotten to the masses, then I think by maybe mid part of next year, we can really get back to true normal. And, you know, I think that everyone will bounce back. I mean, I know that there may be some slight tweaks to the way that we live our lives. We may be washing our hands a little bit more or whatnot, but I've heard, and I agree, I think Americans and people in general, you know, they go back to normal when things kind of level out. So.
Will you go back to hugging people and shaking hands?
Of course. Hey, man, I'm already getting the shirt that said I have coronavirus, I'm safe, and I'm going to come over and hug both of you guys.
Nate, I can't wait to hug you, bro. That's an amazing way to end this conversation. Unless, V, you have anything else you wanted to ask?
No, I guess I just wanted to, like, highlight, like, Nate, could you explain just quickly, like, your background? Like, you're obviously, like, very fit and, like, you're young. Could you just, like, say that just so, like, people who are listening have context? Sure. Because, like, they might
how
not,
old are you
like,
and
who's this,
all that?
who's this, like, sick dude talking? of them. Like,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
might
Yeah,
not
is
know.
he like a grandpa or something like that? How old are you, dude? What do you do? Well, tell us a little about yourself.
So this goes back, and I don't know if you're kind of asking about like my lifestyle, I guess, in terms of health or whatnot. Is that?
Yeah.
All
And
right.
how old are you, if you don't mind?
Like if you were like trying to get on Tinder to get like, you know, a significant other, what would you like tell them
Exactly.
to get to know you?
So I'm 31.
And actually, like, while we're talking about that a little bit, let's end on like, what has your dating life been in the past year, and what do you think it's going to be like afterwards? Saying that you had corona.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of continued.
So let's start at your
flaking and
profile
ghosting.
and then go into that.
Yeah. No, I said it's just a lot of continued ghosting and flaking. So it's not isn't really so much different than 6 months ago.
Oh, Jesus.
On your end or
But-
the other end?
You know, it always goes both ways. So.
Oh man, playing these games,
Listen.
man. Oh, actually, this drop might actually be for you now.
No, I'm 31, and you know, it's something that I tried to preach to people that are like freaking out. Is I do CrossFit, and I'm very, very active, and I'm typically very healthy. Like I go to Arden's Garden probably every day and get.
You were just sipping on some of that. Like, you've been had like a whole stock for.
I got like 4 things. When I was like really sick, all I would drink was Arden's Garden stuff, truthfully. But I mean, I think it's really important that we continue to stay healthy and boost our immune systems, because I think that had a huge impact on my symptoms and how quickly I was able to beat the virus. And it's not just physical, it's mental. You know, you need to be like not freaking out as hard as that is, but you need to kind of keep yourself calm when you have the virus or before you contract it. And also physically, you know, like going outside, exercising, whatnot. I mean, those things I think are really important to the level of how people are going to get this virus.
Do you think people are scared of you for having the coronavirus? They're like, oh my God, like I'm not going to hang out with Nate for like at least till 2020.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think that there definitely may be a good bit of that out there. I mean, look, I had coronavirus, so I guess I'm less safe than maybe someone that you think didn't have corona. I don't know. Honestly, I can come back for that answer, because I don't know how it's going to be going back out in the real world. I'm curious myself.
Word. Well, that is actually an interesting topic that I would love to get into more with you next time you're on the show, man. So hopefully we can get you back on the show in person sooner than later. And, dude, I really appreciate you being so open and honest and willing to come on the show. You know, earlier you asked if we talk about politics and stuff. Typically, this is a pop culture, fun, dating, you know, like stupid shit show, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But what else are we supposed to do, man? This is affecting our lives and stuff, like, and obviously, I'm like really happy to get to know you, man. I'm happy that you're doing all right during all this stuff, and continued recovery. And like I said, hopefully we can see each other in person here soon, dude.
No, I'd like that. And V, thank you for setting this up. And
Of
Side,
course.
you know, you guys are awesome. I really enjoyed the show.
Awesome.
Even the not coronavirus part.
You're right. That's my dog, man. Well,
I appreciate it.
Well, over the next year, make sure you watch all the Bachelor shows so you can come on and know exactly what we're talking about. But for now, dude, we're gonna let you get your rest, and I really appreciate you being on the show today. So,
thanks,
everyone.
Thank you both.
I'm actually gonna give you a round of applause. You know, yeah, everyone, give it up for Nate.
Thank you.
Air horn. Love you, Nate. The kids love you too.
Take care.
Later, Nate.
Bye, Nate.
Goodness gracious, V.
Look at us go. We're just like killing the game with this show.
We're like Jimmy
it's-
Fallon or something. This is
I
ridiculous.
love us.
I love us. Actually, write that down as a title eventually. I love us is a cool one.
I'll just add it to the list. I love us.
Yeah, sometimes I like just as like another peek behind the curtain. Sometimes I do not know how I interview people. Like, that's so crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the craziest part about having a guest on the show. It's like me and you can go back and forth a lot about topics. We have a vibe and go blah, blah, blah. But like when you bring someone into the mix, first of all, that like, I don't know necessarily how much you know him. And then I definitely don't know him. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? And Nate was such a great person to have on the guest, on the podcast and stuff. So I appreciate you suggesting him. And I hope our listeners got to, get a little insight into what's going on here. This is honestly, I'm very excited about it because like I feel like whatever we just talked about in the last week or two with our guest is like stuff that like, fucking ABC, Fox News, CNN, like these are the things that like
we're
I don't
like
know
boots on the ground people. Like
Dude,
we've got, we had Melissa last week. We have
no
Nate,
bias.
and these are both like people like in their early 30s, like just like like people like us. Like I feel like people close to like our audience age range. So I always feel like that's important to like be like, yeah, it's easy to like turn on CNN and see like Dr. Fauci or like see like Trump or even see like Chris Cuomo or somebody talking at you about this kind of stuff, but like having like a peer-to-peer action happening, I feel like is super important.
Right.
And that's what we try to do here at Future Bachelor.
Well, yeah, I might just give us an air horn for no good reason.
Oh, yeah. But let's get into some Bachelor news.
Yeah, this was an exciting weekend. I'm not gonna lie, I completely forgot that the show was even starting. They didn't ramp it up for me. I didn't see no promos or ads. Like
I only knew because
I think either you or Tristan like reminded me that like it was going down, and I watched it on Monday night. And Bachelors, Listen to Your Heart, the new show that's like a spin-off. It's like a combination between Bachelor and Paradise and music,
like American Idol
all together in one. And I was digging it, and I can't believe I'm not on the show. We got to do everything in our power. That's the show. If they're going to do a second season, that's my way on to the show. I will do it if I go through Listen to Your Heart.
I feel like this show is definitely your speed, because like how every like Bachelor or Bachelorette season of late, there'll always be like one or two people who is like a musician, and then they're on there like doing some weird kind of slightly uncomfortable like serenade and to like the one person, but like now it's just a whole house filled with them. So like for me it's like I feel like it's almost even it's past the point of being so cringy that it's just like almost normalized it, because it's just like they're weirdly like just sitting there like, do you wanna, I was pecking at the keys, do you wanna sing with me? And then they're like just singing.
Honestly, dude, to be a musician in general, this is outside of the fact of being on a Bachelor franchise show. Like being a musician sometimes is corny. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like people like already like, oh great, like Si's got his guitar out. What he's gonna sing is like a fucking song now. And but I am gonna do it. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's like, these people don't care and stuff. So I was impressed with the show. Like I liked the characters too. Like and there were some standouts that I was like very impressed with. The black guy that's like super talented and stuff. Like,
so good.
And he's got one of the most beautiful girls like already on like
Bree. What's his name? Bree, and I forget his name. I've got it somewhere.
I have a feeling though, like producers already knew that he was going to be a standout, just because like he must be like the most talented one in the whole group. He has to be. Like
he's really good.
Like I feel like they're trying hard to get him a record deal.
Which like I'm not against. Like that's my thing. I don't think everybody on this show is that talented. I think there's definitely waves of talent.
They fit the mold of this franchise show.
I don't even know if I would go that far of saying that, because I was like talking to a friend of the pod, compadre JD, who's been on the show before. He was messaging back on my Tipsy Talks, speaking of which I'm doing Tipsy Talks for this as long as I can stand it. Mm-hmm. But we were talking about how like there's something like just so like slightly off about the contestants on this show compared to like if you're watching like a Bachelor in Paradise or like a Bachelor Bachelorette show, because it's like they aren't as groomed. Like a lot of them haven't watched any Bachelor shows before.
Well, I think,
so like they're not
the
like
biggest
in
part
it for
about
the
it
sugar
is
bear
that
care.
even the producers don't know what to expect with this type of show. I think this is an experiment. Like this is the best show to watch for someone like me, because it's an experiment. Like they don't know how it's going to turn out. They don't know how to mold it. Like by second season they'll catch on to things, but like right now they're just kind of like, all right, let's go with like the tropes and like the things that we know work in Bachelor, but there's some points where you're just gonna have to
We're going to Capitol Records and we're recording a song with John Mayer's producer.
Yeah, and who would have thought? Like, I mean, I think maybe producer influence might have picked like some of the people that ended up staying, because it just would have been sad if some people went home that There's just
Yeah.
like some good characters in the show that were like on the chopping block this week. So I don't even know where to really start with this show though. Like, is there like, I don't want to go by a play-by-play, but what was your takeaways from it?
So let's talk
Obviously,
about. I guess
Jamie
there's
is like
two.
the hottest one there.
Who?
Jamie.
I don't think she's that hot.
Are you serious? She first of all, she kind of looks like Natalie.
Oh yeah, I knew you were gonna say that. I thought that. I think that Savannah's hot, but Savannah's definitely like the fact that she just self-described herself as a wild child and a free spirit is a red flag to me.
Yeah.
But Chris is the one who's with Bree, and he's super hot. Okay, so let's talk about the fact. So like they do like kind of like a limo entrance, which I thought was just kind of weird, and I feel like it even felt weird to them. But the one guy that like I distinctly remember that they did with his limo entrance, like they showed a little clip, was Trevor. He was on. We talked about it on this podcast. He tried out for American Idol. And he's the one that like Katy Perry was like, oh my God, you're so hot. Oh my God. Like the one that, yeah, like who he, like she was like all about. I was like, damn. Okay. So homie, like obviously I don't watch American Idol anymore. So like, I don't know.
When it comes to this Trevor dude, everyone was already pulling the parallels between him and Jed. He had the jacket with the
shearling
Sherpa
jacket.
Yeah, he came in, and obviously from the previews of next week, he has some bad baggage coming this way, which is crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, luckily, Tristan was naming him Fawn Mendes. Fendez or whatever.
Ryan. Yeah. Ryan looks like definitely like a knockoff Shawn Mendes.
He's
like I
Shawn
totally
Mendes
agree
with John Mayer, so I'll call him Sean Mayer. But that's my nickname for him is Sean Mayer.
I kind of like that.
Yeah. Or John Mendes. I don't know. But whatever what you want. But regardless, lucky enough that he got picked in the last second to stay on the show by a girl that didn't have any other prospects. Luckily, she didn't pick that one dude that went in for the kiss. That was super embarrassing.
Michael Todd.
Oh my God, that guy sucks. Did he go home?
Yeah, he went home. Michael Todd. I called him a scuzz on
the perfect
Tipsy
word,
Tugs. He's so gross.
He's going on Bachelor in Paradise though. That's for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So this is interesting idea. Like my thing is like I want to know, are they going to be throwing people from this pool now
Definitely.
into like
for sure,
the
Veronica.
Bachelor in Paradise?
Yeah. Why wouldn't they? That's a whole new pool.
I guess I didn't even consider that.
No,
it's just because like their worlds are like so like the veins are like so different.
Chris
so it's
Harrison
like interesting.
definitely is trying to set the tone. I see him out there talking about how like the most important franchise in all this shit is Bachelor and Bachelorette. So they're so about like making sure that Bachelorette is gonna get off to a good. Speaking of Bachelorette, like, have you heard all the rumors about it being like at a resort this time, like in 5 weeks? Like it's gonna be.
Yeah,
like
is that how they're gonna get over like filming it? Is like then they're just gonna have them all quarantined in a resort?
Right.
I mean, yeah, because I was wondering they're still casting like during the commercials for Listen to Your Heart. They had like this really bad graphics for like, it's like with Claire and it was like The Bachelorette, but it was like this weird background. It looked like someone just like threw it together in like paint and like was like boop, but like they were like still casting for Claire or Bachelorette Claire Crowley.
It's the first time I've seen something like that. If Bachelorette was smart, they would come up with an online series right now where they did a whole like Bachelorette through like Skype or Zoom or something.
I think like something like Betches, like the media website thing. I think they're actually hosting. No, I think they're actually hosting like something like that. Like
smart.
So like yeah,
it kind of sounds like the dating show you were talking about earlier. Too hot to handle.
Yeah, like or actually I ashamedly follow Barstool's president on Instagram because I like his pizza reviews, and he like has been doing these unboxings and stuff, and he got contacted by somebody who's like doing like a virtual like Bachelor where like they have
would be
like
smart for Barstools to do.
Yeah, but anyway, so how this episode worked is like similar to like Bachelor in Paradise. They get date cards, and then whoever is on the date card asks somebody on a date. So we had Ryan and Jamie go to the date to record Gravity with John Mayer's producers and stuff.
You could tell that guy is like a John Mayer stan so hard, dude. Shawn Mendes,
like I thought, like to me that was kind of cute to see him like geeking out because like this obviously for some of these people is like this is a real opportunity for them to like brush shoulders with the right people.
But that would
And
be
I
like
feel
me being like, yo, I love Kanye West, and then like when I got in the studio to record a Kanye West and I looked exactly like Kanye West. That would be really weird,
that would be
right?
weird.
That's what happened last night.
Weird. Yeah, well,
You could tell this guy's like, yo, I love John Mayer. I got my hair like John Mayer. I look like John Mayer. I know kind
I
of look
am
like
John
Shawn
Mayer.
Mendes, but I'm Sean Mayer. That's what he said.
But yeah, so he and Jamie, like, you know, they had a great connection. But Jamie's the youngest in the house, I think. She's only 21, which to me, I know I'm only 26. Like, I feel stupid even saying this, but it's just like whenever there's like these 21-year-olds coming on here being like, I'm ready to find my husband, like that just like blows my mind, and I don't think I'll ever get over that.
Well, being a musician, I will say that I think this is an actual very interesting show concept, because people do look at stuff like musicians being like a hobby. Like that's something that they said last night.
Yeah.
And it really takes one to know one. Like unless you're just like a fully supportive person, which there are people out there that are like that. It's very interesting to see like a dating show based around people that want to spend their whole life being in music.
Well, yeah, especially like because there's also like, you know, the whole idea, like, you know, actresses or even musicians have said in the past where it's like, oh, like I don't date within the industry, which it's like, I feel like there's like pros and cons to either dating within the industry because you guys both get it. You guys both like have crazy schedules that you can understand, but then also like at the same time, like it could be either, I don't know, like there could be jealousy or competition, or then like the crazy schedules could get too crazy. It's like, it is an interesting concept to be like, okay, let's throw, especially because a lot of these people on the show, like they're not all the same type of musician. Like we've got some more pop leaning people. We've got my personal fave, Sheridan, who's like, you know, an Austin kind of like folk rock kind of dude.
He ended up on top this week, which was really nice to see.
I know. I'm happy that he made it through. Because my thing is like he even said something to the cameras multiple times, because like as we said, like these aren't like, not everybody in here is like so pristine and manicured as like maybe the Bachelor, Bachelorette people, because they also have the element of like they were probably looking for decent musicians and things like that. But like there's some of these dudes around here like look like, you know, perfect, pristine models, and like Sheridan definitely has a different look.
Do you think I would be able to fit in with all those people?
I think so.
Aw.
I think so for sure.
Oh my goodness. Hold on, I'm going to do this real quick.
Yeah, no, I think I have to give it to this show is that it's definitely more diverse than other Bachelor shows have been. But even in that, like, I feel like we only saw Chris really for most of it. He's the one guy of color who's with Brie. And then at the very end,
talented.
we saw that beautiful black girl, Cheyenne.
Yeah, she is hot.
She's beautiful. But I'm like, we
John
saw
Mendes.
Like she barely, like she sung like a little bit at the beginning of the show.
I would
but it's
be
like,
going
okay.
for her probably.
Huh?
I'm not going to lie. I'd probably be going for her.
For Cheyenne?
Yeah. If I was in the house, either her. Oh, I would probably, you know me, I would probably really want Jamie.
But like everybody wants Jamie.
Yeah, like I don't want to go for the I want her to come to me. Like at that point, I would go for, you know, whoever else, and let Jamie be like, wait a second, who's this cute brown dude or that sings?
Well, do you think Jamie's like a good singer? Like when you heard her sing, like what were your thoughts?
Well, after the fact, I figured out that she was like a country pop person. So.
Yeah, she's in Nashville, so.
I mean, it is what it is. I think she did as good as nervous as she looked. Like, I think it's like when you put on the spot there, even a person like me that does music in and out all the time, like, I'd be in that situation.
You're like in Capitol Records.
They both did with the people that produced that actual song. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's hardcore. And I think she handled it well. She's so sexy too, like young, but like sexy, you know what I'm saying? Like, and she had both the fucking dudes going after her and stuff. I think what's the most interesting part about this show is seeing how they're breaking the mold of these. Like when The Voice came out, I was like, holy crap, they came out with a whole new original idea about a singing competition. And you know, it's not like a talent show type thing. So now here comes the Bachelor franchise with their own version of a singing show on the same network as American Idol. And what if they make like the next Carrie Underwood from this show? that would be like game changing, and this would be almost like this franchise could be just as big, even bigger than Bachelor in Paradise, and just as big as Bachelor and Bachelorette. And that's my take on everything that I saw from that night. I see the potential.
Yeah, I could see that. It's just, I feel like like as we said before, this show is definitely an experiment. Like, I feel like I'm not very clear on like what you win. Like, you win true love? Do you win?
No,
like
it's not even a winning thing.
They haven't really
Like,
clarified
this is the perfect
that.
show, like I said, for someone like me, because it's like I am not going on the show pretending to just like find that I'm going to fall in love with whoever they give me. I'm going to try to find love with the pool that they give me. At the same time, I'm going to gain some freaking followers and hopefully become a little Insta famous from being on TV. And that's what this is actually the perfect scenario for the world. Like, I feel of Bachelor, I feel like this is like more politically correct. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't feel bad watching this. I don't feel bad watching this show.
I get what you're saying.
Because everyone's full of themselves.
Like,
everyone has egos, and it's allowed here. And
well, yeah, because like the whole idea, like I think I get what you're saying, because like we're on Bachelor or Bachelorette, like, you know, the point is that they're there to find love, but like, you know,
right.
a
If
lot
you're
of
already
them
like
are
mini
there for the
famous,
notoriety.
like imagine
but,
if you
like,
already have like 100,000 followers on Instagram, and then you went on the show. They probably picked you because you have like already almost like 300,000 followers, because that adds to the franchise being recognized if you have a lot of followers. So people right now that do music and want to be on the show, like this is like the future melding together right now. Like, it's crazy.
Future Bachelor.
Future Bachelor.
Yeah.
Well, V, let's wrap up Bachelor talk, because I got a piece so bad and I want to get in our
Okay, but we got to talk about something really quick, because your girl, Victoria F., is supposedly in Iowa with Chris Soules, a.k.a. Prince Farming, a.k.a. criminal of, you know, hit and run with a tractor.
Okay, so Chris Soules is the first season of The Bachelor I watched. And, you know, she definitely seems like a type of person that would go for Chris Soules, because she just, like, loves bad relationships and fighting. And
I know, like, my thing is, like,
she's so
I was
hot,
like,
though.
okay,
God damn.
Did she slide into his DMs being all like...
No. He slid into her DMs.
Well, was he like, okay, I see that you have some skeletons in your closet, like, we should hang out? Like,
No, be like I
said,
said, it looks like this is what I picture Chris Soules saying in her DMs. Hey, it looks like you like country boys, country bad boys. Holla back.
Yeah, like, I killed a person.
Oh my God, V, Jesus.
He did!
That is dark.
And he's like, and you're a black widow, because, like, you like breaking up marriages, so, like, we should just get together.
Yeah, they deserve each other, but I really think she's so hot, it's crazy. But anyways, let's get into our slapper of the week.
Yeah, so then
this
you
has been
can
a
go to
great
the
episode. Not just because I want to go to the bathroom, but because I just really want to hear the song. Maybe
This
while I
song
go to the
is
bathroom.
great.
You know, this song has been very popular on TikTok and online. You might not have heard of it, but you're going to hear it here on Future Bachelor first then. This artist is called St. John, and he's like he's just breaking the mold as an artist. Like, you don't know if he's rap or pop or like whatever, singing, R&B.
Kind of like similar to like Tyler the Creator, like if you want to like
Childish Gambino or something like that. Just like Renaissance man, like someone that does it all. St. John is sick, but this is a remix called Roses, Imanbek remix featuring Imanbek. So you're gonna hear it sped up, but this song is a party. It's a lit thing. If you're getting on a party Zoom this weekend, a Zoom party,
this is a great one
to bring to the fucking festival. So without further ado, why don't we get into our slapper of the week? Roses, Imanbek remix by St. John featuring Imanbek. Yeah, I'm definitely saying that wrong, I think, but here we go.
I don't know.
Yeah, our slapper of the week, Roses, Imanbek remix. I don't know how you say it, but just find it. St. John, it's amazing.
I think you're right.
Yeah, Imanbek. V, do you have any shout outs this week?
Yeah, I actually want to laugh at myself because I accidentally shouted out my friend. Not accidentally, it's not an accident whenever I shout out somebody, but it was ironic that I shouted her out last week because it's actually her birthday today when we're recording. So I want to shout out my friend Alma for her birthday.
Alma!
And And then I wanted to shout out my best friend, Michelle Gross, just because I love her and I've been able to, like, you know, we always would do weekly, almost weekly or bi-weekly calls and stuff. So, but it's been fun that we've been able to include our other friends and do like some game nights on Google Hangout and stuff like that. And just like talking to her, she's planning her wedding right now. So it's just been fun to be able to talk to her and like experience that process with her, even though like we live apart.
Well, that's what's up. My shout outs, I just want to give a shout out to PG for hosting us today.
Yeah. Shout out to PG. Ooh,
yeah. I just want to shout out you for holding it down on there.
Oh
so
my God, Ronnie.
this one goes out to you.
White J's, white Porsche, white wrist, white horse. High bitch, high bitch, high bitch.
I do not sit there rolling. Nope. And then, you know, I wanted to shout out Nate, man. Shout out to Nate for coming on the show today, talking about coronavirus, COVID. What a great show. I thought that was a great conversation. The last couple of weeks, we've been really kind of getting into some real issues, but at the same time, just being real. Like, you know?
Just being real. That's us.
Just us.
Real
being
talk
real.
with Future Bachelor.
Well, I feel like this was another great episode, V. I really appreciate you. I hope you're being safe. I miss you. I know we
I miss you too.
can cross paths, like, you know, if you ever want to come up to Paul's window, I'm like right here.
I might like, you know, do some Romeo action.
Yeah.
Juliet, we're Juliet.
We're actually talking about throwing a Zoom party on Saturday night, so I'll shoot you an invite.
Nice.
Cool. Well, I love you, miss you, and shout out to all the listeners out there, you know, holding it down. It's been rough out here. I'm not going to lie. Like, it's interesting times.
Yeah.
You would think that people would be listening to more podcasts and stuff, but I'm going to be honest. I haven't even been listening to the podcast I usually listen to. So with that habit, it's like, I like, people are just not listening right now and shit. So it's like, not like.
That's so funny because, like, I listen. Like like Wednesdays are my big podcast days. Like I have like 5 of my different weekly podcasts drop on Wednesdays. So like I listen to I just marathon podcasts for the morning when I work. But we've discussed this. It's hard for you to listen to podcasts while you work.
Well, yeah, and I just also think there's just so much being put out there right now. TikTok is fucking blowing up and shit. So it's like, you know, I really appreciate you if you're still listening right now. We're going to keep going through this. The only thing we know how to do is to keep going. Like, you know, make an episode every week. Who's listening? I don't know. But, like, one day people will respect the fact that we put down some knowledge during this time, dude. This is like, if anything,
share with your friends.
If anything, it's like cool for us to just document this time. Like, we'll be able to tell our kids, like, you want to hear what we were going through while we had a national global pandemic? So, you know, I don't know what's going to happen in the week ahead, but it looks like there's a little bit more of this quarantine. So we'll talk to you guys next week. I think we have some more guests lined up. So get used to some, you know, new people, new voices on the pod. So, yeah, we love you guys. Stay safe out there. And this would be the perfect time to tell a friend about Future Bachelor. And next week we'll be back talking about some more Listen to Your Heart. So, and the campaign to get me on season 2.
Yeah, so if you want to follow along with Listen to Your Heart, I'm on our Instagram stories like we usually do for Bachelor content, doing my tipsy talks, and you know, I'm having fun with it because, like, as usually I'm like such an expert on like the rest of the Bachelor franchise that I can predict more, or I can even like pick out the patterns, but this is a different game. So this one, you're getting pretty raw commentary from me on,
like, not only
this one.
is like that a new experiment, but watching us is a new experiment too.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we'll see you next week with episode 109. This has been Future Bachelor. My name is Sai.
I'm Veronica.
And we love you. And we'll see you next week. All right. Deuces.
Bye.
Future Bachelor Podcast.